We're in here. Five. Hmm. Oh yeah, for sure. Mhm. 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 Um. So the thing for me is, I don't know, um, whose choice it was, whether it was personnel, whether it was play calling, to have such a consolidated offense around Waller and Jacobs. I mean, it kind of makes sense if you have Derek Carr that it would be the play calling because that kind of suits him well. Um, so I'm not great at I'm not great at what's the word, um, prognosticating. Yeah, I'm better at like I think like reflecting. So once I see this for a couple weeks, I think I can make a judgment. But until then, I can see both sides of it. So I don't necessarily like know what happens to the star players of the team. Yeah. Mhm. 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 Yeah. That I mean that's just it's just a very strange scenario, I guess. Just being supplanted, I just taken away in the middle of the season, and that didn't happen much, especially with a guy like Gruden, where was he on like a 10-year contract or something crazy? Yeah, and it's like, I mean, it made sense. It was Vegas. It was Gruden. It was just it kind of made sense from like a spectacle standpoint as well. So, I mean, I don't know. We'll have to see what happens now. I'm not gonna drastically move anybody up or down yet. Just I mean, just know there's a couple of good players there, and I wouldn't be scared of playing him just because of some turmoil. I mean, some had to score points, so yeah. Mm. And yeah, that does make sense because I mean, like a guy like Ruck obviously with the draft capital, but also a guy like Brian Edwards who we've seen make plays in the past and has an incredible profile, very like underrated prospect. There's just a chance that they're used differently. I mean like a guy that I'm gonna talk about later, and we I mean like we obviously will, is like Mike Gesicki, and like a quarterback comes in that's new, and he goes from a tight end two to like a top of tight end, and it's just because of a quarterback targeting him. It's really bizarre. So I mean, you just don't know how new personnel and new pay cars like react to their talent. So it'll be cool to see what happens. Yes, the Bears RB1 is gonna be on RB1 no matter who it is. Really, I think, because I mean this team is pretty inept everywhere, and so is Matt Nagy. So I mean his thought process is, oh hey, let's smash the ball down the opponent's throat, and it kind of works because they also like throw the ball to that person. So I mean whether it's Monty, whether it's Damian Williams, most of Khalil Herbert's carries were in, as the game was winding down in garbage time, if I believe. But so Damian Williams auto start with no Monty. I mean, he's gonna catch passes, get a bunch of carries, and whoever the Bears playing at running back is gonna be a good running back. So that's my only note. Also, I mean, just it's unfortunate for A-Rob, obviously. Fields doesn't look startable quite yet. He's kind of lost out there. Not putting up numbers. So yeah, just go ahead and play the Bears running backs, like whoever it is. But until then, I don't know. Mhm. Yeah. Mhm. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the thing is, we've seen this offense be uh, incredibly hard to watch and ugly and not fun. And it always seems like they still produce. I mean, like whether it's Allen Robinson, I mean, like even like back in the day, like Matt Forte, like there's never been a problem. If a talented player goes there, they've always been able to produce. But nowadays, it's just it looking like there's nothing. I mean, like outside of running backs, and like running backs are good because they get volume. I mean, in this day and age where there's so much passing, they're almost like situation like independent, I guess. So like obviously like the Bears running back is gonna be good if they're gonna give him volume. But like I mean, outside of that, it's just it's a shit show. Coaching, quarterback, pass catchers, tight ends, like there's just nothing here besides the running backs. So it's wow, it's hard to watch. Okay. Mhm. Mm. Yeah. Mm-mm. No. Yeah. Oh yeah. So Darrell Henderson has scored 15 plus points in every single game. I don't have the stats in front of me, but that's he's probably the only person to do that outside of maybe I don't know. I mean, I know Derrick Henry had a dud there. Like he's just remarkably consistent. A fringe RB1 going forward. I mean, he's scoring in every way possible. He's scoring touchdowns. He's getting high usage in the running game, catching some balls. He's on a great team. It's just a perfect storm. Um, so I mean, like obviously, like Woods comes out. I wasn't panicked on Woods like it was a Rob. I mean, they were in a similar like situation, but I mean, just seeing Woods have a vintage game makes him someone that you can plug in every week now because I mean we can expect him going forward to be his old self. Cup is not a mirage. He's been getting just fed over and over and over and over and over. He's a wide receiver one easily. Obviously, yeah, just very impressed with Darrell Henderson. RB1 going forward. So Yeah. When you don't have Russell Wilson, it's gonna be kind of hard. Um, Metcalf obviously played well. I mean, you're still starting Metcalf and Lockett because they're incredible players, but it's kind of a shit show here too. I mean, Alex Collins with Geno Smith. Are you comfortable with that? I don't know. I don't necessarily know. It's just gonna be hard to see lots of production outside of their receivers because this was already a very consolidated offense, and now when you take away a top five quarterback, type of quarterback, and put him with like Geno Smith, I mean, like maybe in college, Geno Smith was better, but that was like a decade ago. So I'm gonna say he's worse than Russell Wilson right now, which is surprising. So yeah, it's rough out there for Seattle. Mhm. 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 It just it just kept sailing. Mm. Mhm. Mhm.
And I think that he would be the safest play on this team coming into this week until we can see kind of what shakes out.
Yeah, and obviously, like that makes sense. Because you're gonna be more like, I guess, run dependent. But like even then, when you're looking at a team with Geno Smith, not an elite defense, I mean, he's definitely startable because he's gonna get volume. I mean, like we're looking at Michael Carter as a weekly starter on the Jets, so like obviously, like you can be on a bad team and be startable, but it's just really rough if you're not DK and Lockett. And I do agree DK is more situation independent than Lockett is because I mean, bro, Lockett still has the most impressive play I've seen in my entire life probably on Monday Night Football when he was like rolling out and like you know what I'm talking about that like
Yep.
corner shot. That shit was
Mm.
just bizarre. Like that doesn't happen to humans, but it
And
happened to him.
he probably has like two of the top three plays in the last
Oh my
5 years.
yeah, it's like how in that like that ball was going in the third row, and then it's just like he just oh there we go he catches it. It's he's bizarre, but yeah, Seattle unfortunate when your quarterback gets hurt. That is very good. So yeah, downgrade everybody.
Something to see. Yeah, next week, just kind of how it shakes out for me is I'll be watching them close, just like the same deal with the Raiders.
Yeah.
Gonna expect something totally different. So curious to see what it'll be. You want to jump to the London game now?
Of course, I would love to.
What a great game! It was exciting despite the uh, Atlanta was Atlanta was like
What's the word?
it's hard to explain. I mean, Matt Ryan is so good but so bad at the same time.
Stick that doesn't make sense to me. How can you both be good and bad at the same time?
It's weird, right? Like how who was this guy this week and last week for that matter? Like, and then who was the guy in the first 2 weeks?
Impasta.
And somehow that's supposed to be Matt Ryan every time. I don't think so. It's just
That's
that's the bizarre thing to me is how Jekyll and Hyde he has been so far as a veteran.
yeah. I think we were dealing with the case of Matt Ryan and then Rat Mayan the next week. Um, very interesting there. But Matt Ryan or Rat Mayan was targeting Cordell Patterson quite a lot. He got 9 targets as a running back, and they were not dump offs. Like this guy was getting like deeper than Debo Samuel, deeper than a prime Juju Smith-Schuster. Like this guy's getting targeted down the field to a degree, and he's like 220 pounds of muscle. It's like he just he's like what I think I would like. If I had Cordell on my team, I think I would like go like 16-0. But I mean, I probably wouldn't. But like, I just think like he's the perfect player ever because like it makes sense how you use him. This is just a quick rant about football. I think guys like Cordell are the most underutilized players in the league, and I've thought this for like almost 2 years now. So like if you have a running back, running the ball is, and I think this was originally thought of by PFF Sam maybe, but if you have a running back, running the ball is not good. It's negative. So why would you ever have a running back out there? Why didn't you have a guy like Cordell that always lines up in the slot? Always, like you never have a running back, but then you bring him back there if you need an extra blocker or you need to run the ball because of matchups. That makes sense to me if you're going to do that. So he's kind of like a stud and he's playing really well. I believe he's like RB3 right now, like overall. So you kind of got to keep playing him when he's getting like 23 touches in a game and 9 of them are targets. So
yeah, it's funny how like the emergence of Cordell Patterson has brought along Matt Ryan's efficiency. And you can see how his usage is expanding week to week. They tried to run even like an option play for him to pass the ball.
Yeah.
It got broken up, but you can see that, they are really focusing on using him to break down the defense.
As they should too.
And as they should, he has to be accounted for. Otherwise, he's going to blow by you. He's got juice at his age, which is amazing. It's something to behold. Couldn't be happier for the guy to finally be getting the work that he is.
Yeah, and it's like the Patriots had this player. He was really efficient with them, if I'm recalling correctly. I just don't know why we don't Laviska Shenault could be this type of player. He's the exact same type of player. I don't know why we don't have more of this because it's like one of the few instances in football where I don't think the usage of players is maximized. Running backs should never be played, but if you have a running back out there, if you have if you have him out there all the time, you're gonna have a numbers game. You're gonna have him against a linebacker who he can beat on a route, or you're gonna have an empty box where he can run it. That is one of the few mathematically good situations in football that has not been exploited yet. So I don't know why we don't have more Pattersons, more Pattersons, more Chenaults, but just get him in there because they're gonna be efficient because they're so dynamic. You know what I'm saying? It's
right.
It's bizarre to me, but
they're built for this game.
Yeah, really. They're so athletic at that size. It's crazy. Yeah. Do you have anything else on the Falcons?
No, just that this is what we were hoping to see out of Pitts, and it's only the tip of the iceberg for me when it comes to him. This is just he finally was able to be featured as the main pass catcher, as the number one, because Ridley was gone, and it just shows the ceiling that he is going to have for his career.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he was getting the similar type of usage with Ridley there, but not the quality of targets, I guess. So this is a mirage if you're expecting it every game, but he's gonna be solid because he showed that he's not a bum out there. He was kind of a bum efficiency wise prior to this, but he's obviously a good player, and if he's gonna get 8-9 targets a game, which is possible when Ridley comes back, because there's nobody else besides Patterson there. It's gonna be scary. He's top 5 going forward. Has been for a while, but yeah, he's a stud. So
yeah, basically he's probably going to pay off at his ADP, which is that was the big question.
Yeah,
as a rookie, is he going to pay off a 5th round ADP? He probably is.
Yeah. For Atlanta, that's not for me. Do you have anything on the Jets?
For me, the Jets, I see them as a work in progress.
Yeah.
It's feeds into the storyline of the offseason, the new coach, rookie quarterback, new weapons, and Corey Davis, and Michael Carter at that. I think Zach Wilson has shown great promise in these first few weeks. He still has a long way to go, but a long way to go for his weapons to be trusted in fantasy is what I mean. But I do see the light at the end of the tunnel. It may not be this year, but I have faith in his growth going forward. I think that maybe just maybe the Jets might not be a wasteland next year.
Oh my! You think the Jets, the franchise that has not been good since the Bud fumble, will be relevant next year? Is that a thought that you just had?
Not relevant in the NFL, but relevant for fantasy.
Okay. You know, at a certain point of being bad, that's all you can ask for, you know?
They still are going to be in the division with, the Bills and the Patriots and the Dolphins, who are all, pretty well-built teams right now, outside of the Dolphins' quarterback situation.
Oh my God, the Bills, holy shit. We'll get to that, but the Bills are very good. Yeah. I can see that, I guess. I'm obliged to talk about Michael Carter like I have every week. His second goal line carry. Ty Johnson gets one too, unfortunately. But Carter punches it in. Carter gets 3 catches this week for 30 yards, so very efficient there. Carter's gonna keep getting this empty S volume, and he might score every once in a while. So like he's a flex play because his floor as a running back getting that many touches is higher than receivers in the same range. So Carter is definitely startable and will be until further notice because he is a rookie, so he should get better as the season goes on, and he's already putting up 12 points a game, 14 points a game. So there is a world where Michael Carter is very relevant going forward, and for right now he's just relevant. So
I agree. He's startable now, and I think he will only become more and more startable as the season goes on. As you said, there's only room to grow. As the rookie and the future of the position for your team, you have to imagine that they give him more and more touches so that he gets more and more comfortable with the speed of the NFL and is ready to hit the ground running next year when they've, kind of gotten through their rebuild and their new coaching staff and are ready to kind of see what they're made of, I guess.
Right. Did my camera just go away?
It did.
That's unfortunate. Here, 1 second. Yeah, I do get what you're saying there. Here, I'm gonna go. Oh shit! Genius. Oh no, it's gonna echo. We're cool. Anyways, so this is just all. I might just go rogue. Yeah, fuck that. The Jets, maybe relevant later. Right now, they have like one piece that I'm interested in. But I will say Zach Wilson he was throwing deep a lot, and he had, if not two, at least one deep pass that if would have been caught, it would have been like a big touchdown. But it was just PI because he got fucking hacked. So a little bit of what do you call that? Like unrealized points, I guess. Yeah. So
I think that happened twice actually.
Yeah. So when you're throwing deep like that and like it didn't look awful. It wasn't like accurate necessarily, but like it was in the area. So if he's gonna have a high A-dot with guys like Corey Davis, that's about it. But he could be relevant at some point this year if he's gonna keep throwing deep. But until then, just like keep watching that because that was encouraging.
It was. I agree. He doesn't look scared out there, even though he's taking some sacks here and there, he's thrown some picks here and there. He's not backing down, which is the most you could ask for out of a rookie quarterback,
right.
I think.
Right.
Detroit, Minnesota.
Oh, okay. This is kind of a bummer for me. So after the first 2 weeks, it was like, Hawkinson is like tight end 3 very easily. Like he's gonna be the next thing over Kittle. But now he's had a couple weeks in a row, 3 actually, under 10 PPR points. I'm not saying I'm panicking because, I mean, on paper he should get it like back together, but definitely the arrow was trending down for a guy like T.J. Hawkinson. Anything there for you?
Yeah, I think that the problem with Hawkinson is the Detroit Lions already know that he's going to be a part of the plans going forward.
Yeah.
So, and so is Jamal Williams and Deandre Swift for that matter.
Yeah.
The rest of the team, well, okay, you could add Jared Goff into that, I guess, as well, because he's getting all the money and he's not going to be going anywhere for a couple years.
Right.
So all the other pass catchers are basically in like this tryout mode for the team.
Yeah.
Who can show that they can hang in the NFL and be a piece to build around going forward. That's kind of what I think this whole team is going through right now, not just on the offensive side of the ball. They are looking to create an identity with Dan Campbell, their new coach, and they are trying these guys out to see who fits that mold. Who should they continue to build around? They know that this isn't the year, so it's all about the future. Yeah. And I can see why they keep spreading the ball around for that exact reason.
Yeah, and like when you look at the roster, and I mean, I think Quintus Cephas is hurt, but I mean
he did get hurt.
Yeah, I mean, but like it was Cephas and it was Amon-Ra, and it's a bunch of young pass catchers. So I mean that theory makes sense, but if that's the case, it's going to be rough for Hawkinson this year because I mean that's it's a relatively sizable sample size. That makes sense. It was a decent sample size that wasn't that where he didn't produce. And if you compare that to the first couple weeks of the season, it was like he is our number one player. He's going to lead the team in catches. Like it was like a certainty. But now it's like he's getting out targeted by guys like Amon-Ra, and I mean Swift has been outpacing him. So yeah, I'm not panicking yet because he is very talented and he is probably the best pass catcher on this team, bar none. But it's just something to like look out for, I guess, going forward.
Yeah, I mean it's also entirely possible that Mike Zimmer just schemed him out of the game, and that most teams going forward will do the same thing. They know that he's their main weapon. If they take him out, then it forces them to A, run the ball, and B, rely on young and experienced pass catchers to make plays.
Right.
For a quarterback who is prone to turning the ball over, it makes sense, you know, for teams to just take away Hawk and then what else do they really have?
Yeah, and so okay, I want to keep this in our mind. We were saying Swift would be the lead leaguer in running back catches with like a pretty big certainty. I believe he had 6 this week. So I mean that is still valid. But so Swift leads this team in catches obviously, but like Hawkinson second, right? You think?
Probably. I mean, yeah. I don't see how one of these other guys. I mean, the only other one that I think has a chance would be Amon-Ra because he's going to be playing the slot and could just kind of eat up targets in that way. Because if Hawk keeps getting taken away, then the other guy in the middle of the field should have at least a little bit of space.
How far behind? So okay, like let's say Swift catches like 90 balls. How far behind is Hawkinson from that?
I don't think he could be more than 10 behind that. He's got to break 80 catches. He has to.
And at that point, you're not concerned. But yeah, and that's like entirely possible. It's just, man, it's hard now because like you laid out the case of this tryout scenario, and if this tryouts in like week 4, week 5, it's rough. Yeah, I'm like. If the Hawkins owner is thinking like me, I'd go ahead and buy low because he's still probably going to be a top 5 tight end, or I mean, it is startable like top 7, 8. But yeah, just something to monitor. But speaking of the other guy in the room, Deandre Swift, another game where he is a prolific pass catcher. How many running backs would you rather have over him right now for the entire season?
Eckler, either of the Browns running backs.
Derrick Henry, CMC.
Henry, CMC, for
Najee
sure.
Harris.
Najee,
Yeah.
yes. So he's definitely he's firmly in the top 10.
Yeah. And it's because like he's not gonna get that rushing volume. He's just not. But he is the team wide receiver one. And is he the only team? Oh, okay, yeah, he probably is. Is he the only player on his team where he will like definitely lead the team in catches as a running back? It has to be, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. And it's not even gonna be close.
And he's never going to be game scripted out.
No.
So he's firmly in the top 10 for me, especially in a PPR league.
Oh, easily, yeah. What are your thoughts on Jamal? Do you think he monopolizes him at some point, or do they just keep splitting, or like what's going on there?
They're going to keep using Jamal because he's that guy. He's that. Yeah. He's just good in pass coverage, good in the red zone, good at running the plays efficiently. Like we've said in the past, there's no reason to think that he just disappears. They're both getting enough volume to be relevant. I think that that's just going to kind of continue.
Right. Yeah. I mean, outside of that's kind of the entire team. Do you have like any other notes on that game or that team in general?
The thing that bothers me about Detroit and the Hawkinson situation is that you want to think that he didn't get as much usage this game because maybe they were getting blown out or whatever, but it was actually a very competitive game all the way through. So if he's not being used in a competitive game to win the game, when is he going to get featured?
Yeah, that's the thing for me. There really wasn't any reason for him to put up a dud here. It's a tough scenario, and like I'm saying, like if the Hawkins owner is panicking, he is still a very talented player that will probably be the second best receiver on his team by a pretty big margin. But so like go ahead and buy him if you can, very low. But he's not the player that we thought he was in week 2. Is what I'm saying.
Yeah. Agreed. For Minnesota, disappointing overall to only put up 19 points against the Lions.
Yeah.
Other than that, Justin Jefferson, 100 yards, over 100 yards in a score.
Stud.
Madison looks good in lieu of Dalvin Cook. It looked like they didn't change the game plan whatsoever, because they had him and had the backup in. So that's certainly encouraging for Madison owners, or if you're holding Madison because you have Cook, you're not losing out really.
It's really bizarre because like I thought Madison was not a handcuff last year because like I keep saying this, but Mike Boone was getting work. It wasn't like Dalvin Cook light, but Madison is looking like Dalvin Cook. Just period. He's getting fed in passing game, even more so than Cook has in previous years. He's running all over opponents. He's just an auto start top 6 running back when he's healthy, and Cook isn't. So, he's a very, very, very high priority handcuff, and maybe even, this top 2 handcuff like him and Pollard pretty easily. They're studs. Jefferson once again stud. He proves why he should always be ahead of Thielen because he's independent of like touchdown variance. He can have a good game without touchdowns. Thielen probably can't. Thielen puts up kind of a dud, but like he's solid. So it's kind of a 3-player offense. So there you go.
Yep. That's all I really had for Minnesota. Just it's okay to have if you don't have Madison actually and you're the Cook owner, you should probably be doing everything you can to get him.
Yeah, because if Cook misses more time, like Dalvin Cook is obviously great, but you're literally not missing anything with Madison right now. So like I would consider an investment of like you're buying Dalvin Cook for 3 extra games if you have him. Just because like if you do own Dalvin, so if you can go ahead and trade like I don't know, like a marginal. Like a Michael Carter James Conner, that might be helpful for you if you're not going to play him, because he is Alvin Cook just in a very small sample size. So.
Right. You want to talk about the Saints in Washington?
Sure. The Saints. Kamara showed the way he's Kamara. He's getting it done through the air and the ground now, which, I mean, it's still concerning because, like, he's had very weird usage, very volatile usage. But, I mean, this shows why he's always going to be an RB1, even if it's a lone RB1, because he just does it in every which way. And then Scary Terry, he's matchup proof. I mean, he only has like 10 points here, but 11 targets in one game. With a guy that talent, that speed, that A dot. I mean, he's a wide receiver one. This was his floor essentially, and it was 10 points. So
yep,
you can't be mad at that.
Yeah, 11 targets, and he only came down with 4. You have to think, that's about as bad as it's gonna get.
Yeah. Exactly.
And for those who, like myself, who invested in Logan Thomas in the draft, because he had a nice role. Ricky Seals-Jones walked right into that role.
Exactly.
So if you didn't pick up Ricky Seals-Jones yet, and you were the Logan Thomas owner, go ahead and do it. If he's gone, it's tough. It's going to be hard to find another tight end who has a role like this that isn't already off the wire.
8 targets last week.
8 targets. I mean, you can't ask for much more from a tight end.
Exactly, yeah. I mean, pretty boring game fantasy-wise because, I mean, we're looking at, like, 2 good players between, like, Kamara and Terry, but definitely Ricky Seals-Jones is viable. And I think it's funny, like, who's going to catch the touchdown from Jameis this week. I mean, this week it was, like, Deandre Harris with, like, a fucking huge bomb. But, like, it's just, like, it's so bizarre because that team has no talent at all on offense outside of Kamara. So, like seeing the names is pretty funny. Like, I saw, like, Chris Hogan week 1 catch a touchdown, and I was like, this is just bizarre to me. But, yeah. So, weekly Jeopardy game. Get everybody on the Saints and just, like, mark off who scores. Because it's somewhat different every week, so, yeah.
Yeah, totally weird seeing this team be like this after so many years of being so steady.
Yeah.
And now they're just kind of like...
It's not the Saints,
It's not the Saints, but then it is the Saints, and then they aren't, and then they are.
Like, what the hell? What the hell's going on?
Don't really know what to think other than if you have Kamara, you can play him, but other than that, it's you're totally rolling the dice.
Speaking of what the hell's going on, this man Davis Mills probably made the worst throws that I have seen go for big plays consistently in one game. I mean, this man threw it legitimately into double coverage on the sideline, rolling to his right, and the defender goes up, and the ball goes like here, and then this guy catches it, and then the guy behind him, and like a Minneapolis Miracle like overshoots him, and he just I'm like 70 yards for like no reason. It should have been a pick, and that happened like all night. So I mean, shout out Davis Mills. Brandon Cook somehow has a dud in a game where Davis Mills has like 3 touchdowns. So that's unfortunate, but keep playing Cooks. Just like what a strange game overall.
Very. I didn't get to see it. So did you get to see much of it?
I saw the entire thing.
Okay, so talk about Damian Harris. I saw that he got the touchdown early, fumbled on the goal line, came out for an injury, went back in, came out for another injury, and went back in.
Yeah, so it was speculative that he was being benched for Ramondre, but turns out Ramondre sucks and always has. So Ramondre is pretty quickly benched again, and then Damian Harris comes in and gets hurt again, and then Ramondre comes in again. And the moral of the story is Harris is a very, very good running back and will probably keep his job because he's really good, and Ramondre is awful. But you can't film on the goal line, no matter who you are, especially Damian Harris, who has done that twice this year now, in critical spots. It's not the best news, but Harris remains playable in good matchups. I mean, like, he got 10 points in one quarter and then essentially was out. So, like, that's who he is. He has that Nick Chubb very light upside in good games because he could score twice, 3 times in one game, and he's a very good runner. Also, some upside pass catching, but yeah, If he's the starter, if he's healthy, all that shit, he's gonna be playable because he's really good. But that's kind of on the air right now. So
yeah, it's tough. The saving grace is that he did continue to get fed after the fumble when he was out there. So
yeah,
you have to imagine it'll go the same way moving forward. Makes him at least reliable in flex as a flex play on bye weeks, or if due to injuries on your team, if you have to plug him in, you know that he's not going to put up a 0. He's going to get the ball.
Yeah, and if you put him in, you have upside too. Like, not only does he have a floor because he's gonna rush a little bit at least, but also I mean, he has multiple touchdown upside every time because he is a goal line back on a solid team with a good line that's gonna run a lot. So I mean, that's good. But what's better is Hunter Henry with 5 targets or more in 3 games and 2 touchdowns in a row. What are your thoughts on Hunter Henry going forward? Because we were all on Team Jonnu, but
on paper, you would think that Johnny would be or was going to be the guy because of the free agency acquisition. He was the first one, got more money, but it looks like Henry is taking that pass catching role, and Jonnu's being relegated to more of a blocking role. Jonnu's good at blocking. Go figure. So
he's fucking good at everything.
It's tough, but it's a tough pill to swallow, but that's what it is. Hunter Henry is the more viable fantasy option until further notice.
Jonnu, better blocker, more handsome, probably better at pass catching. He's a true humanitarian. And Hunter Henry is an asshole. So he's just better overall, and for that reason, I'm gonna keep Jonnu on my 20-team league, or no, a 20 roster spot because he's a really cool guy and he's right here. But for everybody else, Henry is playable and Jonnu isn't. So
basically,
yeah. But Jacoby Myers, once again, the definition of Cole Beasley light. He just comes in and he gets targets and he puts up 9 points, and you're like, I'm not happy, but like, I'm not sad about that one. I mean, you could definitely do worse than Jacoby Myers on a Sunday morning. So
yeah, I totally agree. I love Jacoby because of the type of player he is, the quarterback-friendly player that he is.
Yeah.
And, he hasn't had any – I don't think he scored a touchdown yet in the NFL outside of the preseason.
No, but he did throw one.
He threw one.
That one time. Yeah, that's it, though.
So got to think that those are going to come. You just keep plugging him in, and then when he pops, he pops.
Yeah, I could see like a 3 touchdown like through the air game one of these days where he just gets a bunch of those. That'd be crazy. Imagine if he just anyways. But yeah, I mean, this Patriots team, something to watch every week because there's a lot of players that are relevant, but they are relevant different weeks. So like, it's kind of cool to watch. I would recommend it. It's good for the soul. But moving on to Miami, Tampa Bay. Wait, are you done with that game?
Yes.
Okay. Miami, Tampa Bay. What the hell happened to Myles Gaskin? This man was dust a week ago. Like consensus dust. Like, what happened?
I don't know what to think other than this team. Just they can't rely on the wide receivers for some reason. I guess they're all banged up. Did Davante Parker play this game?
I couldn't tell you.
I just can't trust the Dolphins for anything. And if I had Myles Gaskin, I would try and sell him high now, or sell him for whatever I could now off of this performance. There's no reason to think that this is gonna. I have no reason to think that this is going to continue going forward. I mean, yeah, he's going to probably get some targets again, but not 10. Darren Waller started the year with 19 targets, and has he broke 10 yet since then? I don't think so. So to think that this is going to, the Dolphins just are so all over the place that I just don't want any piece of them, even less than the Jets.
Well, I do. I want Mike Gesicki. There have been since week 2. So Tua Tagovailoa was hurt at the very start of week 2. So essentially, Jacoby Brissett is operating on his 4th game this year as a starter. Since then, Here are the tight end target leaders in the NFL. Travis Kelce with 35. Mike Gesicki with 31. He's second in the NFL in targets since then. If you're getting that many targets as a tight end, you're top 5 until Tua's back. Like, that doesn't happen. He's very, very, very athletic. If his ADOT is 0, he's a top tight end with 8 targets because, like, he has the inherent big play ability because he's a super athlete, like a crazy super athlete, unfathomably explosive and shit, and he's getting fed. So, play Gesicki over literally anybody not named Kelsey Waller. Like him and Pitts are probably like pretty close right now until Tua's back. So yeah, do that. It's good for the soul. Gaskin, sell high. Like, that was just bizarre. I don't know what to say. Gaskin is looking like a scat bag with upside through the ground, but like a very volatile one at that. It's kind of weird. But what are your thoughts on Tampa Bay here?
Tom Brady ain't gonna ever stop.
Jesus Christ.
He won't stop, never stopping.
Never.
And then, so with that said, if you have any of the past wide receivers, AB, Godwin, or Evans, you have to just play them and know that there are going to be ebbs and flows, but 2 touchdown potential. Mike Evans and Antonio Brown had 2 touchdowns apiece. So Godwin was the odd man out this week, but who knows? Next week it could be Godwin with 3 touchdowns. It's just you have to play them and know that the possibility is there for minimal production, but the ceiling is higher than most.
This is the great part of talking every week about the same thing. Like, Godwin, AB, and Evans are the same player. And this is the game that perfectly illustrates it. I've been saying it for weeks, but this is the example I'm going to use now. Godwin leads the team in targets by a wide margin. Godwin has 20 less points than his counterparts. It just happens. Like, it doesn't matter if one of them gets 2 targets and one of them gets 10. They're all the same player. Always have been, always will be. Like, and you can't sit. Like, okay, next time you're asking yourself, do I play like AB or this guy? Ask yourself, would you play Mike Evans or this guy? Because they are essentially the same player on the same team. So you can't play any, or you can't set any of them because they're all like top 24 like any given week. And yeah, they're studs. And you don't sit studs ever. So
simple as that.
Yeah, get this out of your head that they're different players. Like, they're the same player, and they're each gonna have there's gonna be one of them that has a better game probably, and you can't pick who it is, but it's gonna happen.
In the pool of fantasy players, you could see it like you were saying. There's 3 Chris Godwins.
Literally. Yeah, and like I think it's AB that has this like stigma because like it's always like AB or this guy but AB is better than what AB is better than what you think he is because like he isn't the guy from last year. He's a top 20 receiver. Like I don't know what to say.
Because of those other guys, he's always gonna have the better matchup.
Yeah.
On the field, he's always gonna have the better matchup, and he's gonna be able to exploit that matchup. It doesn't matter who he's going against.
Because he's the best ever. Like legit, like top 5 receiver ever. Like he's incredible.
Craftsman.
Tom Brady. I don't know if I'd rather have 5 quarterbacks going forward than him. He puts up 400 yards on over 10 yards per attempt, which is fucking bizarre. Leonard Fournette has 5 targets and a monopoly of the carries. He's startable, unfortunately. This entire offense is just a cheat code. Lenny's startable. Tom Brady's top 5. Other receivers are startable, and it's just like, wow. Good luck, just good luck. If you're not the Bills, I don't see how you beat this team. Really, it's incredible. This offense is a cheat code. So yeah.
Yeah, when I was looking at the box, it looked like the Tampa Bay had the game well in hand in the fourth quarter, and they still decided to put up 3 touchdowns in the fourth quarter.
Of course,
just cause.
Just cause, and like if I could, I would too. Like there's like they score at will. It's not possible to stop this team like outside of like mistakes.
Basically,
yeah.
this is It's just one of those offenses that you want to get any piece of that you can.
It's special. It is. Yeah. Do you have anything else, or is that it for that game?
That's it for that game.
Okay. On to Green Bay Cincinnati. My first note was just, bro, like there was like 4 missed field goals in a row.
Wild.
A really really good game if you didn't see it. Like legit like good game because it was a bunch of drama. My big thing was AJ Dillon had 4 targets and some big plays through the passing game. And last week he had like 15 carries. So by no means is he a threat to Aaron Jones, but he's probably going to be annoying because he just showed that he can do it both ways at 287 pounds because he's fucking huge. Yeah.
I can see a world where he's more relevant now, and when we hit like week 8, 9, 10, it's going to be a lot more Aaron Jones, a lot more about the playoff push. It'll depend on the state of the division, I think, as well. So something to monitor, just the overall record for the Packers versus the rest of the division, as well as, the health of Aaron Jones. I think that's what is their main concern, making sure that he's going to be 100% going into the playoffs, which is their aspiration. So, and with that said, this O-line, and it's missing a few pieces, 3 to be exact, isn't doing him any favors.
No.
So, also the other piece I have about the O-line is I think that's what's kind of killing Tunyon's fantasy value right now. He's staying in the block a lot more, and you're probably not going to see anything change in that regard until all 3 of those starters come back on the O-line: Bakhtiari, Jenkins, and Myers.
Bobby Tonyan. Okay. Quick trivia question: do you know where Bobby Tonyan went to school at in college?
This is a total guess. Ball State.
Close. Indiana State. Do you know who Indiana State's most famous alumni is?
Larry Bird.
Yes. That's like, so my cross country team goes on a trip every year to Terre Haute and to like Indiana State, like their like course, and when like you walk in, cause okay, like it's that town is called Cross Country USA, like it's kind of the shit, and you walk into the weight room and there's just like Larry Bird posters like everywhere, like it's bizarre, and it's like this is the only thing they have. So yeah, but speaking of Indiana State resident Bobby Tonyan, he's dead, but who is not? Davante Adams. He has 16 targets, and everybody else in the Packers combined has 19. That's kind of
amazing.
Bizarre. Yeah, and this is not something that is new. He's gonna have a 30% target share, if not more, from Aaron Rodgers. It's really not fair at all.
And when it's important, he's gonna be getting the ball. Red zone situations, third downs.
We've seen him like versus San Fran with like that big gain, and then like now with like the big gain, like he's the guy. Whenever he's the guy, first quarter, second, third, fourth, overtime, when they need to play, like he's that guy. He's their goal line back. He literally is. Like he scores more touchdowns to the goal line than like Aaron Jones probably does. Like it's just bizarre how he's used, and he's so easily the wide receiver 1. It's not even close. So yeah.
The thing that I'm like so curious about is whether like LaFleur actually calls these plays for him, or if he's like, okay, Aaron, you and Davante. And he just lets Aaron say, okay, this is the route you're going to run, and this is what we're going to do.
Neither of them would surprise me. I mean, they just have that fucking mind meld. It's
totally awesome to watch.
Man, Cincy. Man.
Jamar.
Yeah, he's okay for Dynasty. Is he it? Wide receiver 1?
I mean, for his like age bracket, I guess, like the under 25.
You could say CeeDee Lamb, you could say Justin Jefferson, and I wouldn't be mad, but like
right, he's in that conversation with those guys for sure, and there's no reason to think that it's going to change when he's playing with Joe Burrow.
He's like 21, like he's so he's unfathomably good.
The stat that I saw today compared him to Randy Moss, and it was he's the only other player other than Randy Moss to have 5 touchdowns in his first 5 NFL games and X amount of yards.
Yeah. Do you want to end this call and then talk about Chase later? Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Will you send an invite?
Yep.
All right. Sounds good. Sweet. Yeah. Jamar Chase. Dude, I don't know what happened to OBS. It's like kind of... Here, I'm going to play some music. Hopefully it's not copyrighted. Let's see if I have a cool song lined up here. Okay, yeah, this shouldn't be copyrighted. No, let's go over here, actually. Oh, my God. Here we go. Let's go to here. Chips, you should bet them on them. Caught a Betty barking, hear him in a mess he started. Nigga, they keep an eye on me. I am not a child artist. I raised the bar and hit a chin up for a while on it. Life a long ride. My niggas up. This man crazy. My bitch is down for me cause I stay a buck 50. Any whoosies. Oh. City drought time. Why the fuck I'm up 50? Playing like I'm down 5. We in there. Wait, does it work?
I can hear you.
Dude, we have 1 each. This is crazy.
I'm in.
Oh, he's in there twice. What a guy he is.
Let me see.
Two Stickman. Okay, there we go.
There we go.
So, speaking of Jamar Chase, I'm not going to say he's wide receiver 1 quite yet. I'd probably rather have CD over him. Just barely. But, like, it really is incredible how he didn't play for an entire year. And we're like, look at this guy's profile. He's going to be a stud at some point. And he's a stud right now. Yeah, I mean, weekly start. Is he top 20 rest season? Probably. Is he top 15, you think? I mean, at that point, it's tough. But, like, I won't mad if you say yeah.
I don't see. I mean, the fact that he keeps playing the deep ball, and that's, like, his game, it's going to keep pushing him up. A la Justin Jefferson last year, hitting 1,400 yards. That's not out of the realm of possibilities. From a dynasty perspective, the only reason that, for me, that I would put CD and Justin Jefferson over him would be the fact that T. Higgins is going to be a part of this offense going forward, where CD, you could foresee a world where Amari moves on. And he becomes, gets more of a target share because of that. And the same thing for Justin Jefferson and Adam Thielen. Thielen isn't long for the NFL. He's probably going to retire here soon. Yeah, I would think.
Yeah, for sure.
So that means he's just move up because of that.
Yeah,
that would be the only reason. But that doesn't mean that Jamar is going to be far behind.
Yeah, I mean, just the definition of the player you want in Dynasty, the definition of a starter and a redraft every week. I mean, there's really no reason that you should sit him. I mean, at first I was like, this is touchdown dependency, but then he starts getting yards too, and it's like, damn, this guy's just really good at football. Newsflash, top 5 pick with a great profile is really good. So keep playing him. I mean, anything else on this team? Burrow, Mixon, anybody? Any of the Joes?
I'm just worried about Mixon.
Yeah.
The trend from the last couple of years, injuries. Now he's trying to play through injuries. It's just putting him into the Dalvin Cook conversation for me, where you just never know where you're going to get. He could go out there and play one play and come out for the rest of the game because he tweaked something. Or he got hit the wrong way, and for the style of runner he is, he's not going to back down whatsoever. He's trying to run guys over. He's trying to jump over guys. To me, he was just a risky investment to begin with. Yes, on paper the volume was going to be there. On paper he's a good running back, but the fact remains that running backs get hurt a lot, and especially players like Joe Mixon.
Yeah. I mean, I agree with what you said there. I mean, he's not quite in the Davin Cook conversation, I guess. But I mean, this is a guy that we've seen deal with injuries for multiple years, and I mean, at a certain point, your knees and your foot and your ankle, they all kind of add up, and you end up like a David Johnson or a Devontae Freeman, who just kind of a shell of their former self that was younger. So I mean, as of right now, Mixon is fine. He's on a great team, great offense, lead back, but just something to monitor as his career goes forward, because it does seem like he's had his fair share of injuries, especially like lower bodies. So yeah, it's unfortunate to throw that up,
Yep.
I mean, what's that? Yeah, that's it for me. You want to move on to Denver Pitt?
Yes.
Okay. My weekly Najee Harris, he just keeps going up. He's top 5 right now for me, rest season at running back. He has 5 more targets, and obviously a big game rushing the ball. I'd probably rank rest of the season. You have Henry and CMC with the hamstring are kind of like interchangeable, but then like Najee legit might be number 3 right now. I mean, what can you say? He had 19 targets, then he had 100 yards next week, and it's just like he is their offense, especially with no Juju. He's gonna inherit more of those like targets, and it's just it's really hard for him to fail at this point and not be like. His floor is probably top 8. Like his absolute floor with like no touchdowns, like just off pure volume of rushing and receiving in PPR, he'll be top 8, and his ceiling is obviously higher. So yeah, he's scary.
I think that and we're just scratching the surface here. I think seriously, he looked really good on the ground. With this, and it's a new offensive coordinator, is it not? This year.
Oh yeah. Could be. Yeah.
So to think that he is figuring out his game plan each week, it's only going to get better going forward. I think they're figuring out what's working, what's not working. Let's continue to do what's working. This guy is he's gonna win some leagues at the end of the year, I think.
Yeah, I totally agree. So, circling back to the last team, a very relevant question here, historically and right now. Would you rather have in Dynasty Najee Harris or Jamar Chase?
Jamar Chase, because of the longevity.
Yeah. I agree there. Would you rather have Najee Harris or Jonathan Taylor in Dynasty? Given that we just saw JT have 2 fucking huge plays tonight.
JT looked really good. I think that honestly they're interchangeable for me. I would take either. I think that they're going to have similar shelf lives. They both look very promising on teams that want to feature one guy certainly more than the others. Two coaches who want to rely on the run. I think that they're actually quite similar. I would take either one. I don't have either.
Unfortunate. Yeah. I mean, obviously, 2 starts there, but once again, Deandre Johnson on I think 2 targets, if I'm not mistaken, maybe 3. He has a good game. He's not a wide receiver 1 because he's hurt too often, but like when he's healthy, he is there almost every week. He's just very, very, very good at football. My biggest note here is my weekly Gordon versus Javonte chart. They both had 12 opportunities. Javonte was more efficient, but it was off the back of a nearly 50-yard run that was down like at the 1. So you take away the best play, which doesn't make any sense to me. But if you do that, Gordon was a far better player. This is like the truest of timeshares in the NFL. It's like 50-50, and they're both like 1 week one's better than the other. So like, I mean, they're both startable, but like there's no workhorse here. Like nothing close to it. So yeah.
Nope. This is all preparation for Javonte to take over next year. It's the same thing that we talked about before the season even started. Melvin Gordon's still the highest paid player on the offense. They're gonna use their investment. They're giving him the money. You got to carry the rock for us. You're not going to go sit on the sideline and cash checks.
No.
So until Gordon's hurt, expect him to get similar usage.
Yeah. And obviously, once again, my weekly thing, Tim Patrick defies efficiency. Always has, always will. Keep playing him until he doesn't do that. it doesn't make any sense to me, but every week he just is very efficient and gets big plays. So, plan.
Tim Fireball Patrick.
Yeah. Here, by chance, do you have his Here, I'm gonna look it up. Cause like he has to be like pretty high right now in like season rankings, doesn't he? For receivers.
Let's see.
Cause he keeps having good games. You know what I'm saying? 38, but that comes off the back of 4 games over 12 points, and no games under 5 points. So like, I mean, just every week he's there. Yeah. He's
going to continue to be there too.
Yeah.
He's just a solid player. He's like if Jamal Williams was a wide receiver.
Oh my God! Yeah, you're right. Exactly. Yeah. So Tim Patrick has gotten 28 targets this year and caught 25 of them. Or no, 24 of them. I don't know. It's bizarre. He doesn't. When the ball is thrown to him, he catches it and he scores. Like, it doesn't make any sense to me, but he does it every year. He has for almost 2 years now. So keep playing him. Do you have any thoughts on Courtney Sutton here? Because I didn't watch the game, but I saw he had a pretty big game. So
he did, and it was just more of the same from the week before. He was just good at getting open, and with that kind of space, Bridgewater can hit guys. Sutton looks good. And it's just going to be a lot of him and Tim Patrick going forward. Those are the two big playmakers, and Noah Fant is sprinkling in, but they're happy to give Albert O targets at the tight end position, and rightfully so, because he's good. He's good as a pass catcher. He's certainly good in the red zone. So I think that's really Fant's biggest problem is Albert O.
Yeah, Albert O, if you don't know, athletic specimen, just bizarrely athletic. And a very interesting name in Dynasty that you should trade for if you can, because I think he's the guy at some point. Maybe not this year, but I think at some point he is a very relevant player in the NFL. So I agree. Do that. But as of right now, what you gonna do?
He's a good depth piece to have. I absolutely agree. The one thing I wanted to talk about with Pittsburgh that we didn't get to really was Big Ben. He did look better in this game. But you're not expecting much, I guess. So how hard is it to be better?
Right.
The wide receivers do it all.
Yeah.
This is what I talked about pre-draft with Big Ben. Is he isn't seeing a guy open downfield and then letting it rip once they're already 20 yards downfield. Dude, Deontay Johnson's 50-yard touchdown. He let that ball go within a second of it snapped. He got it and just threw it up and said, "Go catch it." He didn't even know if he was going to be open or not. I can't think of a more volatile style of play.
Yeah, he's like Jameis without any of the fun,
Yeah.
Which is unfortunate because Jameis is very fun. But yeah, it was encouraging to see him at least try that deep ball to Deontay, and it worked out. It doesn't look pretty, but like a big A-dot is a big A-dot. So
I would call it luck. I mean, that was just a lucky touchdown to me. I mean, yeah, he hit him, but he could have just as easily been picked.
Yeah, and like, if there's a 50-50 ball or like even like a 30-70 ball and like you're throwing that's good for fantasy though. Because if you're throwing deep down the field, you're gonna get big plays more often than not. Picks are pretty hard to do because like if you're a DB, it's all that hard because like you can't catch if you're a DB usually. Like it's kind of hard to get picked unless you're like throwing it like to the safety. So just seeing that from Big Ben is encouraging for fantasy, but he still sucks. But I mean that's something that we should be taking note of, I guess. Just looking forward.
Yeah, just for me, it just leads to volatility. It's something that you can't rely on, at least for the quarterback position. Deontay, fine, totally. You have to start him every week. You don't sit him. Even though he got 2 targets in this game, he still came down with a big touchdown, and that's probably how it's going to happen a lot of the time. If he doesn't have the long touchdown, he'll probably have 12 targets and catch 11 of them. The guy that's going to be super interesting going forward is Chase Claypool, because with Juju gone, he bad dislocated shoulder. Like that was a tough hit. he was in a lot of pain right away, and they tried to pop it in on the sideline, and they couldn't even do it. So I believe he had surgery already. If not, he's going to be having it soon. They're expecting him to be missing quite some time, nearly the end of the season. So pretty much he's done.
Yeah.
That opens the door for Claypool to take over his role, Juju's, where he can hopefully get some more targets underneath, as well as do his jet sweep stuff and some deep stuff, because I mean that dude he's special.
Yeah.
So I'm excited for him.
Yeah, I mean Claypool. Where do you rank a guy like Claypool for Dynasty? Like I'm not saying like name wise, just like how do you evaluate a guy like in a situation that is as strange as he is in right now?
Claypool is one of those guys that I would actively try and trade for. I wouldn't overpay, but someone that I would want on my rosters going forward, because the athletic profile, bodes well for him in the future, and he's playing a position that he can last in the NFL for a while. And he's, explosive plays. He's gonna be a touchdown guy. So I mean, I don't want to say. I actually, yeah, he's almost like a DK Metcalf for me. I don't see them as too different.
Yeah, I mean, like any guy that is gonna be in a role like that is, and so like we say like touchdowns are random, but anybody in a guy like that is gonna have an elevated a touchdown percentage just because of like how they play. So I mean, if he's getting targets, he's gonna make big plays and score touchdowns. So yeah, I mean, definitely a guy that you're gonna want to go out and get if you can. It's probably hard at this point to get him, but I mean, any price you pay is probably gonna be worth it, because Juju's probably gone like after this year, and I mean, even if there's a backup quarterback, Big Ben, like it's not much of a downgrade at this point. So yeah, I mean,
a bad quarterback like Chase Claypool would be a bad quarterback's best friend.
Yeah,
someone as athletic as that, with the catch radius like that. That can be used in several different ways. He's a quarterback's best friend.
Imagine like Ryan Fitzpatrick with him.
Oh my god.
That like he legit might be like top 6-7 receiver at that point. You know what I'm saying? Like he'd just be getting fed over and over and over, and just wild, bizarre. But yeah.
Agreed.
Do you have anything else on this game, or do you want to go to Carolina and Philly?
No, let's go to Carolina and Philly.
Alrighty. So. My two notes on Philly are obligatory like every week. Miles Sanders is very frustrating to own. He has 5 catches for 6 yards. That's kind of strange.
Hard to do.
It is hard to do, and it's hard to get 5 catches too. So that's kind of encouraging. But I mean, you got to keep playing him. Like, so he's had a bunch of bad games in a row, and he looks like he's not playable. But the same story with like Clyde Edwards-Helaire. This is not a bad offense, and he's getting a lot of opportunity. So you got to keep playing him just because of his expected points are higher than his actual points right now. So keep playing him as a low end RB2. But I mean, it does kind of suck right now. And then Davante Smith had a touchdown called back, but still had a great game. He's approaching like every week starter. And he's very, very viable if you need anybody for bye weeks, because he's going to put up probably 12 to 15 points every week, and yeah, he's solid. So
I love Davante Smith. Now that I got to see him play a little bit more, I'm really encouraged by what I saw. I think that he has a very bright future if he can stay healthy and stay on the field. He's just going to keep producing, man.
Yeah.
He can get open like no other.
Yeah.
It was really nice to watch. So, talking about Jamar Chase and Dynasty, you have to bring him into this conversation, because they were not only in the same draft class, but maybe only a couple of spots different when in your rookie draft ADP.
Right.
I would be happy to have either one on my team, and would say that they're nearly interchangeable. You give, especially with Jalen Hurts continuing to ascend, you have to think that he's just going to keep getting better, and that's only going to bode well for Davante. I mean, he's going to be something.
Yeah, I am much more bearish on him in Dynasty, just because it's historically almost impossible for a guy like him to be successful. It is kind of weird though, because we are seeing his like closest comp in Emmanuel Sanders produce at the age of 86. So I mean, if Sanders keeps playing, then his range of outcomes gets a little bigger. But Slim Reaper is a big buy in redraft, but a big sell in Dynasty for me right now. Kind of always has been. I haven't been like every league redraft, but like nothing in Dynasty. But yeah, still a stud like every week. And so right now, like while he's healthy, he's a stud like every week for like both those. But yeah, just going forward, hope he doesn't break a rib because he weighs like 8 pounds. But
the thing that is helping his outlook in Dynasty for me is him being on the Eagles and a team that's utilizing 2 tight ends. It allows him to stay out of the middle of the field. It allows him to avoid big shots. If he can continue to do that, work on the outside, work deep, and just work off of his elite separation, I think that he can last.
That does make sense actually. Yeah. I didn't think about it like that. If Ertz and Goddard are still playing, which they are, it's gonna lower the risk of injury for a guy like Smith, which is his only thing that's not going for him right now. So yeah, good point there for real. Carolina. I mean DJ Moore. Obviously. I mean, like, what can you say?
He's the wide receiver 1, and there's no stopping it.
Yeah, and he's probably top 10 at this point. He's gonna keep getting lots of targets. He's very efficient because he's very good, and he's just that guy in this team. And there's nothing to say. He's gonna be a league winner. He's gonna be ADP, and he's a stud. Chuba Hubbard is looking like a handcuff, like a true handcuff. He's getting fed through the air on the ground, and he's very solid. He has lots of big play potential with that speed. I'd keep playing him while CMC's out, but he's probably going to back this week. That's all I got for that. Anything?
Yeah, I mean, lucky enough, the top 2 running backs in ADP, CMC and Dalvin Cook, have the top 2 handcuffs. You know, you don't get now that we've seen it for a couple games, Chuba Hubbard is not much of a drop-off from CMC.
Yeah.
Certainly not usage-wise. Maybe a little bit in production because, obviously, CMC. But you can certainly put Madison and Chuba Hubbard in the same exact conversation. They are elite handcuffs that must be owned.
Yeah. I didn't think about that, but yeah, Hubbard and Madison and Pollard are probably the big 3 of handcuffs going forward, and probably for the foreseeable future. So, shout out those guys.
For sure.
Anything else there, or are we on the next game?
The only other thing I have to say would be keep a close eye on CMC if and when he does come back. Hamstring injuries are tricky, super easy to aggravate, so just temper your expectations that, or be prepared mentally for him to possibly leave a game early again.
Yeah. Hamstrings are so hard. Every time we've done this, I brought up how historically incredible CMC is and how there's nothing close to him in fantasy. But like with a hamstring, I'm considering moving him down to RB2, which is like a really big thing because like he was literally interior by himself. Like it wasn't even close. But yeah, like hamstrings are not fun, especially for a guy like CMC that gets that much run. Watch that because it could go bad.
Yep. Just prepare yourself mentally. Yep. That would be my last note. Okay. Tennessee and Jacksonville.
We have 22 passing attempts for Tennessee, and 0 go to the big dog himself, Derrick Henry. After could have been a breakout season in terms of pass catching, Derrick Henry gets 0 catches, which is a damn shame because I was hyping that up every day. But even in a game where he gets 0 targets, 30 points. So you could do worse, I guess.
3 touchdowns helps.
Yeah, it's almost like he doesn't need that, which is kind of bizarre. But he's really good. He might be too good, because AJ Brown and Julio can't get the ball. It's always going to Derrick Henry. That's just something to look forward to. AJ Brown still had an almost 30% target share, but it was only like 6 targets. So
tough, just weird game. They also had they're also facing Jacksonville, who couldn't move the ball on their bad defense. Like,
Oh yeah.
which is even more maddening. I played Trevor Lawrence, Visca, and Marvin Jones in DFS, expecting them to light up this Tennessee secondary as Zach Wilson was able to do, and freaking Marvin Jones and Visca are out targeted by Jamal Agnew and Tavon Austin. Like, what are you doing, Urban Meyer? Who are you, and why are you in this league? Just get out.
Yeah, that was I looked at the box score and I just didn't want to write any notes. I was like, how can we take something from this game? Like, we have Tavon Austin getting targets.
It's I don't know. It's maddening. Billionaires don't like to be wrong, and Shad Khan is not going to give up on his choice anytime soon. And that's going to be a big problem. I mean, there was a post-game interview where a reporter asked, I guess there was like I don't know if it was a 3rd and 1 or 4th and 1, but there was like a goal line situation. And the reporters asked, why did they not run a QB sneak? And Urban Meyer gave some story about how they've run that in practice, and Trevor Lawrence isn't exactly comfortable running the QB sneak. And so guess what the first question the reporters asked Trevor Lawrence when he got to the podium? Are you comfortable running the QB sneak?
He's like, yeah.
And he's like, yeah, but coach called that play, so I handed it off, and J-Rob got blown up in the backfield. Like what is going on in Jacksonville? Just get Urban Meyer out of there. He is killing any kind of chance that you have of building a team around this rookie quarterback. Now, they're searching for leadership because Urban Meyer doesn't even ride the bus with them back to the hotel and stuff like that. Like,
he's such an asshole.
What the hell, man? I'm flabbergasted by the entire situation. And I can't wait to see him just get out so we can actually have see the real Trevor Lawrence, because there's just so much untapped potential because of this guy and him trying to be cute with everything that he freaking does.
Yeah, Urban Meyer not good. That might be that name of the episode. I don't know. He's not good at all.
He's a joke.
Yeah, he makes it hard to trust anybody besides J-Rob here.
That's it.
He does seem to be getting J-Rob some work, which is good because he's solid. But I mean, outside of that, it's it's a revolving door between all the receivers. And there wasn't anybody on earth that knew that Tavon Austin was in Jacksonville until last week, and it's oh, now he's getting 9 targets. That's great. So yeah.
So crazy.
Shout out J-Rob. Unfortunate.
My last note on this game would be about Derrick Henry, though. I think that based off of what we're seeing and on this crazy usage, my boy Joey P mentioned, a really good stat to have in your corner is games played. Derrick Henry is really good at getting games played. So with that, just that alone, and mixed in with his talent, there's no reason to think. For me, I would draft him 101 next year.
Yeah.
Over CMC, even though as sexy as CMC is as a play, or as a fantasy asset, and great to watch him have all that receiving work. Give me the steady guy, the one who the team shows that they are just going to keep feeding him the ball because that's how they win football games.
Yeah, this team has a top 10 quarterback and A.J. Brown, and they give the ball to him, and it
relentlessly.
And I'm not mad at it.
And they should. Yeah,
he's incredible. Yeah, shout out Derrick Henry. This next game, we could make a whole episode on. It's my God, this Chargers team is just floating right now. Keenan Allen or Mike Williams rest of the season. Who do you got?
Mike. Give me Mikey Dub.
You might not be wrong.
Dude, I'm literally actively tanking in a dynasty league. I'm starting Kenneth Gainwell and Kenyon Drake as my running backs. And Mike Williams won't let me lose.
He's the savior.
Dude, like it's really amazing to see, honestly. It's like all this hype that was brought around him when he first came into the league, it's finally coming to fruition, and I don't see any reason why it's going to stop.
Yeah, I mean, he's gonna have his stinkers when you're making your living off a deep ball. You're not gonna catch it every once in a while, but I mean, he has legit 40-point upside every week because this team is fucking like wild. This team is so wild right now. It's literally a 3-man offense, and they're scoring like 40 points a game.
What's wild is how many points they're putting up, and Keenan Allen isn't getting any of the touchdowns.
Yeah, it's so strange.
He's getting none.
Yeah, yeah, and like Allen is still probably like a wide receiver one like going forward, because he's getting 9 targets on a great offense, and he's gonna score, but like he's not scoring at all. Like it's just strange. And then like Eckler, like 30 points in the quarter. He's top 6. I mean, him and Najee are like right there.
Is that his second game in a row with 3 touchdowns?
I think it might be. Yeah. He's such a stud. He's such a stud.
Love it.
And then obviously like Justin Herbert, he has what is it? I think it's 12 touchdowns in the past 3 games. Might be, but he's insane either way. So
yeah, this guy is to go from people said he had flaws at Oregon.
Yeah.
To like I bet the Chargers didn't even realize this kind of potential out of him.
No chance. Yeah, he's blown it out of the water. Not even close, you know?
Totally.
Wild.
It's just awesome to see, and it's so good for the league. Now you get to have that conversation of like, you know, Mahomes was looking like he was just, you know, Jesus reincarnate. But there are other guys out there to say, no, don't forget about me.
Yeah.
Josh Allen.
Oh my God.
Justin Herbert.
This Bills team, I can't wait. Anyways, yeah. So I mean, that Chargers team is insane, but I'm not at this point yet. Actually, I don't know. No, I'm not at this point yet. But this Browns team is this close to like. So they've had 2 RB1s for like a year and a half now, but they're this close to having 2 weekly ranked RB1s. Like this hasn't. I don't think this has ever happened before. The 2 running backs that are this consistently producing RB1 numbers.
Not that I can imagine or can remember. I mean, usually teams have RB1s because they get there on volume. These guys are just destroying efficiency.
Yeah.
Hats off again to Kevin Stefanski and his immaculate game planning and scheming. That's, to me, is the big difference. That's what is allowing this to happen and creating it. It's unprecedented. And everybody should just kind of realize that Hunt is not a handcuff in any way or shape or form.
No.
What he is an RB1.
Yeah. So like, would you rank him top 12 next week? You think? I mean,
yes.
I don't know that shit, but yeah, yeah, he's getting goal line carries. He's catching 5 balls a game. He's on a great offense. There's no holes to his game. He scores however he wants to. You know. It just makes sense to put. Just go ahead for the rest of the season. You're gonna set your top 12, right? Chubb and Hunt should be 7 and 8 every single week, right?
And without any fluctuation, because you know they're both gonna get there in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah, and like you're gonna get duds because like this Browns team can't do this like every week, but like this Browns team is gonna score probably like 30 points, and who is it going to if it's not them? They don't have receivers.
Nope.
Baker Mayfield isn't scoring through the ground. It's gonna be Hunt through the air or Chubb through the ground, and it's gonna be Hunt the goal line sometimes. Like it's so consolidated between these 2 running backs. it just makes sense. They're both top 12 plays, especially in a good matchup. I mean, you can comfortably start them both top 10. It's just yeah, just multiple touchdown upside for both of them. For Hunt, you have 10. I mean, 10 target upside, especially with like no Landry, who like if he's it's just man, it's very strange, but.
And it perfectly leads us into the next guy on the docket here, David Njoku.
Yeah.
He is all of a sudden relevant again because of this heavy run game. That means more tight ends on the field, and with Hunt being so good in the passing game, those linebackers are doubling and tripling accounting for him, leaving these tight ends wide open.
Oh my God, yeah.
And for a guy like Njoku and his athletic profile, I mean, he is of anyone at that position, he's going to make the most of it when he gets the ball in his hands.
Yep. I mean, Njoku. So OBJ has not been good. Like after I said to go buy him, he's not been good. If OBJ isn't going to be good and there's no Landry, who else? Like Baker Mayfield is going to throw the ball, and it's probably going to be to Njoku because there's literally like nobody there. So he's definitely like streamable going forward. But man, these running backs like these two teams are probably the most exciting for me in fantasy like going forward, because it's just like they all their production is between 5 players. Like it's Eckler, Allen, Williams, and the 2 running backs, and it's like it makes it so easy for us, you know. It
does.
Fun.
They're all just plug and play every week. Doesn't matter who else is on your rosters. Make sure those guys are in.
Yeah. I agree. Do you want to move on to Vegas for Chicago?
Well, we started with them, so we can go down to Frisco and Arizona.
Okay, so I have one quick note on Vegas here. Josh Jacobs has had 5 targets in I think 2 weeks in a row. So that's good for a guy that hasn't got targets in the past. But moving on to San Fran, Arizona, Elijah Mitchell gets 9 of the 10 carries by running backs. That's good. He's still the guy when he's healthy. It looks like he's healthy. And on offense like this, that's probably going to be a role that is startable. So I mean, going forward, you could flex him. I wouldn't be mad. And everyone on the team, everyone on San Fran, besides Mitchell, obviously. Not named Deebo Samuel is dust to me. I don't know what happened to Ayuk. I really don't. He had all the hype going in. Last year he was historically incredible as a rookie. Like people don't realize how great he was last year as a rookie. Now he's just nothing.
That's so Shanahan, man. I mean, he can just get a hair up his ass about a guy. It could be anything small. I bet like Ayuk maybe doesn't study the right way, the playbook or something, and that's why he's not ready to be a pro. Like it could be literally anything for Shanahan. And the thing I think also that should be noted here is that Kyle Shanahan was a wide receiver in college and had pro aspirations and had a really bad injury off the field that stopped him from doing that. So I think because of that, not only because of the injury and the aspirations, but because he was a wide receiver, he has possibly unrealistic expectations for his wide receivers.
Yeah.
And you know, Deebo Samuel's the only guy I've seen ever get consistent work in that offense as a wide receiver.
Yeah.
And the only time he doesn't get it is when he's hurt. So I don't know what he does that Shanahan loves so much. He must do everything perfectly. But it's just that's what I think it is.
And it's just so strange because like you can say that and it might be true, but like at the end of the day, like I don't know. Like it could be that and that'd be fucked up because like I mean Ayuk is a stud. It could be something from like week 1 where he was just pissy. Like there's just so many outcomes and they don't give us any answers. Or like for me at least, it's really strange. But I mean that being said, going forward for me, it's gonna be Deebo Samuel. You're playing obviously. Mitchell startable. Lance doesn't look good, but he's rushing a lot, so that's encouraging. But with no Kittle, this offense is going to be pretty boring for fantasy until Ayuk can do anything. So yeah,
it is. and it'll be interesting to see what happens over the bye week. It looked like Trey Lance has a knee sprain.
Yeah.
Go figure. It's San Francisco. Somebody hurt their knee.
Of course.
I mean, it's just unreal the kind of luck they have with injuries.
Yeah.
So Trey Lance, we'll see what happens over their bye week. But I would expect, if he can't go in week 7, it's going to be a lot of Elijah Mitchell.
Yeah.
And I'm looking forward to starting him that week.
Me too. Yeah. I mean, Mitchell, he hasn't been there a ton, but when he's been there, he's been the guy, like pretty much through and through. So I like week 7, I'm looking forward to playing him. He's next time they play, he should be started because he's the starting running back on a good team. So yeah.
Agreed. Arizona.
Yeah. I had one note here, and it was this is pretty encouraging for Nuke Hopkins for me. I mean, he has a good game finally. Like, I wasn't too worried ultimately, but his target share wasn't looking great. But I mean, like, this proves that he is still an elite talent that's gonna get there. If it's not the elite upside, he's still gonna be very, very viable as a wide receiver 1. So yeah, keep playing him. Obviously,
there's no such thing as a 50-50 ball with him. They're all 80-20 in his favor. Even in double coverage, it's just wild. The way he can high point the ball and the strength he has in his hands to bring those balls down every time over guys. It's really cool. The thing, it's so cool. The thing that the only thing that's hurting Nuke is Rondale Moore is just like so good at creating separation that
so fucking good.
That it doesn't force Kyler into forcing the ball to Nuke. He can pick and choose when he wants to do it. So that's really the thing that's the only cap on Nuke's ceiling.
Rondale, like, when Kyler throws to Rondale, it's so cute.
It's like you're watching Pee Wee football for a second.
Yeah, it's like, wow, like that kid's pretty fast. That's it's just he's playing versus the big kids. Good for him. But yeah, I mean, Rondale, we knew he was good, but we hadn't seen him play in 3 years prior to this. So it's like, does he have it? Yeah, he does. Turns out the best freshman in the Big Ten history is still really good. Yeah, I don't know why he fell that far in the draft. He could have declared after freshman year and been like a top 20 pick, but he was like, fuck it, I'm going to get hurt 5 times. And here we are. But yeah, he's incredible. I mean, once again, James Conner with like literally like 30 yards, but 10 points in PPR because he's that guy. No, and on PPR because he's that guy. Edmonds will be there more often than not. It was just a down week for him. But yeah,
tough game. He didn't get. He fumbled. And he was like inches from the ground. And the ball got popped out on him. Tough to swallow there. But Connor is the running back version of Adam Thielen. He just score touchdowns. Be happy with those minimum 7 points I'm going to get you. I might get 1 yard and a touchdown, but I'll get that touchdown.
You can't ask for much more, that's solid. One thing I will say, I gotta give a shout out. Well, I don't know what to call this. My condolences to Max Williams of Minnesota University. He gets hurt. He was having his best season pass catching wise. He's always been a very elite blocker. Look up the PFF stats. He's been a fucking stud. He's awesome. He's from Minnesota. I'm from Minnesota too. But so yeah, he's been solid, but he gets hurt. That's unfortunate.
That was tough.
Yeah, I mean,
it looked bad too.
Yeah, it's not good at all. I mean, if anything, that's more volume for the other guys because he was actually like eating in the volume of like Nuke and Rondale Moore. So that's some inside scoop that you won't get anywhere else besides from Minnesota. So yeah.
Okay. I like it. You want to move on to this Giants and Cowboys game?
Of course, I would love to.
Okay, you go.
Okay, Devontae Booker is direct handcuff. That seems to be my favorite phrase today. He was getting fed when Saquon went down. What the fuck happened to Tony? That's strange to say the least. This game is just weird overall. Dalton Schultz outproduces both CD and Amari. Who saw that coming? Kenny G Goose Egg, he's dead. Unfortunately, I thought he had upside, but he doesn't. So the thing with CD Lamb and Amari Cooper is they had an 18% target share each, and they're gonna have that. But they're usually getting that at like 41 passing attempts or for like a very high volume attack, and at that point there's like top 5 receivers because 20% of 40 is 8, and 8 targets from Dak Prescott is like 20 points. So that's good, but Dak is just so efficient right now, and they're winning so many games that they're running a lot. So I say all this to say that you want Dallas to be facing a really good team, and you want Dallas to be bad because it's all a numbers game. Whatever target share CD and Amari get is going to be divided by the passing attempts. And the higher the passing attempts, the more they're going to produce. So if Dallas is facing like Houston, CD and Amari aren't wide receiver ones that week. If they're facing like Kansas City, they're top 5. Like it's a very simple equation of math. I'm a stat major, so yeah, me. I don't know. That's it.
No, I like it. I agree. Dalton Schultz is a tight end 3 currently on an average of 6 targets a game because it's crazy. He's just been really good.
Yeah. Yeah. Damn it.
Tony, this wasn't a mirage, I don't think. I think that this is something you can certainly hang your hat on. 2 games in a row, breaking 100 yards, looking absolutely electric out there.
Yeah.
You can tell he's a fiery one. He's trying to throw punches at people wearing helmets, which is also makes him pretty dumb.
That doesn't seem. I mean, I haven't tried it personally, but
I don't think it'll ever work. I don't know. Probably not.
What about next time? Maybe.
Your best bet is the eye poke through the face mask, maybe.
Oh yeah, that's how it is usually. Yeah.
But with that said, I'm making a priority to pick him up wherever I can, and I think that he could be a league winner based off of this. You're not going to get any other wide receiver with this kind of production off the waiver wire this year.
No.
There's no reason to think he's going to lose some sort of target share when everybody else on the team is hurt, including their best playmaker in Saquon Barkley. And then, hands up for Daniel Jones. Pray for the boy. That was a tough shot he took. And if he's not in, even more reason to think that Tony's going to get more touches. I mean, they're going to just rely on the most electric player that they have, and they're going to get the ball in his hands any way they can, whether it's jet sweeps, handoffs, hike it right to him, fucking everything. So the guy's going to get a minimum of 10 attempts in some shape or form every single game going forward.
He's going to start kicking field goals too. I mean, just
why not?
Get him to touch the ball,
Why not? They don't have anybody else to do anything, so
exactly.
Let Tony do it all.
It's so unfortunate for Daniel Jones though. I mean, he 400 yards last week. He's fun to watch and to own. He runs, he throws deep. It just kind of sucks, but yeah.
Yeah, it's tough. Yeah, pray for him. Pray double for Saquon. He needs it. God, the dude is like the most unlucky player I've ever seen in my life.
He's so like rookie year Saquon is like a top 5 running back to watch. He's just so fun to watch. But yeah, it sucks. It does suck a lot.
Yeah.
But I mean, do you want to move on to the most fun game of all time, KC Buffalo?
Yes. This was such an awesome game to watch.
How are the Chiefs 2-3?
Defense can't stop anybody.
My God, you're right, but they haven't stopped. They won a Super Bowl not stopping anybody. They've been so reliant on offense, and it's worked so often. But now they're just, I don't know. It's strange.
Yeah, and then we'll give credit to Buffalo's defense also yesterday. I mean, they looked really good. They have looked really good in the first few weeks of the season, and they put the pressure on Mahomes to make plays in split decisions, and they were able to get their hand on the ball and create turnovers.
Yeah.
That killed them. Take away those turnovers, it's a totally different ball game.
Yeah. Yeah. The Bills are just looking so good right now. They're throwing like this is a game where Stephon Diggs gets like 5 targets. Like last year they were just like relying on him like over and over and over and over. But not only on defense, but like on offense, they're throwing to Dawson Knox. They're throwing to Sanders, to Cole Beasley, to Zach Moss. Like Diggs is not their number 1 target right now, and like he's probably the best receiver in the league, like outside of a couple guys. This team is operating at like 80% power, and they beat the Chiefs. Like it's wow, this is scary for the NFL.
Yeah, and we got to see a little bit of that ceiling too come out of Josh Allen with his rushing. He was like he decided to go for it a few times, and there was no stopping him. So
you just went mute for a second. No, you're good. Okay. Okay. Yeah. So, I'm okay. So I said that about Diggs. It's not panic time, but it does kind of suck. Because Diggs was just like this impeccable target hog, and now he's kind of dealing with like 5 other players that are just getting targets for some reason. I do think that he'll get laid down like down the stretch, but it does kind of suck when you're like 2nd round pick or is just not getting that targets that you thought he would. So yeah.
It is. What about Patrick Mahomes?
He threw the ball 54 times. The fact that he did that, so like I've seen Mahomes be. I mean, like I'm not unique, but like I've seen him be that good for that long. If he's throwing the ball like 54 times in a game, that's going to be like 40 points more often than not. So I'm not concerned. I mean, obviously he didn't look great, but I think that's just like the ebbs and flows of his like I don't think there's anything wrong with him. So
I don't think there's anything wrong with Mahomes. I think my real takeaway about him is just that he's turning more into an Aaron Rodgers than he is moving towards a trend of Josh Allen, Jalen Hurts, Lamar Jackson, these elite rushers at the quarterback position. His rushing is more of a ancillary piece, the way that Rodgers used it early in his career. But Mahomes is just that's what I see is the evolution towards Aaron Rodgers rather than maybe one of these elite rushing quarterbacks that we kind of thought he could be earlier in his career.
And so like even then, we haven't seen this like elite ceiling rushing wise, and he's been the QB 1 or 2, I think 3 seasons straight in points per game. So like I say that to say that he's gonna be fine, but there isn't this like Lamar Jackson MVP season ceiling out of Mahomes anytime soon, because he needs to have a crazy touchdown rate for that to happen, which is just almost impossible.
Let me ask you this: what kind of do you think that Patrick Mahomes has that type of finishing, consistently in the top 3 here, if he doesn't have Tyreek Hill?
I mean, without Tyreek, he'd be a little bit lower. I still say he'd be top 5, but like I say, you take off like 5% of his production, like maybe 10% of his production, because like ultimately I think like Andy Reid and him would like work around it, but like obviously like if you take away a top weapon in the NFL, like it's harder to produce. So
I just think that he really vaults the ceiling up. Tyreek Hill does, because at any given play he can turn a tap pass into an 80-yard touchdown. And we've seen him have how many 3 touchdown games in the last 3 years with Mahomes? Like probably the most in the league. That helps a lot.
Oh yeah.
So 100%. That's just my little takeaway, is that it's not all Patrick. He has a lot of help getting him up there.
For sure.
Not to take anything away from his talent, he's super fucking talented.
Yeah.
He's really good. I mean, he has one of the strongest arms in the game. He can move and throw it accurately on the move. But his weapons help. If he has to throw as many passes to Demarcus Robinson as he has to Tyreek Hill, he's not going to have near the output.
Yeah, you're right. That is true. I just think like
it's hypothetical.
Yeah, it is, and like Tyreek probably isn't going anywhere, but like I mean, without him, it's definitely harder because their skill set, like not only are they like great like individually, but like they are really good pairs like for each other. So I agree there. My only note on this game, actually two more. I've been wanting Michael Harmon to be a thing for a while, and I'm not saying he is, but every time he has a good game, he's worth looking at because he does have this theoretical upside being the second receiver on this great team. So I mean, keep an eye on him. And then Zach Moss is going to be a stud. I think he's taken over to a degree over Singletary. And on a team that good, you're going to be good if you're the running back. So definitely go ahead and try to get him if you can because he's going to be playable for a while. So
he is. This team's just going to keep winning. They're going to keep having leads, and they're going to have to keep salting the clock away. And Zach Moss has been very good at that.
Yeah. So okay, do you want to try to end this and then do like risers and fallers like real quick, or do you want to try to do it in like 6 minutes?
We can. I don't really have many, so let's knock out what we can right now.
Okay, sweet. 1 second.